Hello everyone, and welcome to another live stream of working on the entry for JS13K in A-Frame VR. Let's just dive in right away and I'll explain what I plan on doing today. So this is what I have right now. It's walls, a floor, a chair, some mice, and another wall. Oh, and there's a paw on the floor here. If you enter VR, you get two paws. And they're nice, cute cat paws. But since last stream, I did quite a few things. One of the things was changing the palette. So I found a nice palette on low spec that is... I think it has some cozy colors. I want to make it a cozy shooter. But I think the cozy palette fits the theme of a black cat and mice. Something I also did, which I'm pretty proud of, is adding some features to the production build. So I have a build pipeline set up that normally just runs and serves and has some debug things set up. But when I do a production build, first of all, I want to have a zip file, which I created now automatically. And I get a visual on how big it is. So when I change things and do a production build, I can immediately see. And there are other builders and tools that do the exact same thing as this. I just copied it, and with a little bit of help of AI, it was implemented pretty quickly. And the fun thing is that because you have the exact bytes remaining, you can just test things and try things out and see, well, if I change this or this in the build. I added a few features in the building. I had this feature already that mangles property names when they start with an underscore. This is something I noticed last year when mangling classes with public properties. Often when you just mangle everything, things get screwed up. But when you start with an underscore, it's private, so you can just mangle it and it doesn't matter. You can just change the name to an A or a B automatically. For other places, I might need to do that manually. For example, for the components. Well, that string is cannot be made smaller. Well, actually, I think it can be made smaller since these are always 8. So I can maybe split it in blocks of 8. But it could be that code would be bigger than just keeping the commas in. So I'm not too bothered about it. But mouse, for example, is something that can become one letter, and that could save a few bytes because it might be used in a couple of places. I've also been playing a bit with how A-Frame handles TypeScript. I'm a big fan of TypeScript, and I want to have my types everywhere. And by default, if you read the documentation of A-Frame, it's all JavaScript. There's no TypeScript. The though there are types for TypeScript. So if you look at this, this is all a type definition for A-frame. So you get some type information when you work on things, but not enough. For example, the schema. I don't think I have any schema set up yet. Oh, here I was testing some things out here. So here I have lives. So now when I do, I add an update. Oh, I don't want that. I can do this data, and now I have lives, and that's because I set the schema up like this, and set the type of this component to, well, this construction here. I found this somewhere. It's just a small piece of weird TypeScript that just fixes things, which is pretty cool. So now I have, based on the schema, I get well, type information. And there's also another thing. So AI comes with a suggestion here, but you cannot actually do that because technically lives is read-only. And this is something I ran into. Oh, it's interesting that it says any here. Can I make this a string then? I probably cannot do anything with it because it says 9. Oh, it could be that the type becomes 9 because this is the type. Oh well. I don't bother with the exact type here. I want to have this, because I might end up with a lot of different properties in a schema. This just saves me a little bit of time, just having that IntelliSense. Because normally you should not set the data that way. You could set it like this. Or you could just set it like this, and this is the most common way. If I just want to set the property on this element, you need to do it like this. And you don't get IntelliSense here, and I have not figured out a way to do this. Besides creating a whole bunch of extra stuff around it. And I need to register components in a different way. That's not going to work. I want to keep it as simple as possible with getting stuff like this. Now this is some extra stuff you need to add. And I don't like that. I don't like needed to keep adding extra stuff. So what did I do? Every time I need to repeat myself, I create code snippets. So I can do AF for A-frame, C for component, and now I have a component. And it's based on the file name. I want to have the component with a dash lowercase, what's called snake case, I believe, of kebab case, with a dash in the middle, but it automatically transforms it like this to the or smooth locomotion in this case for this type, and here. And if I want to have the update, I do AF for A-frame method, and then I can do I want tick. This I learned is also a TypeScript little trick to specify the type of this. I didn't know that, but it seems to work, so I think it's fine. So when this function is called, it just passes in these two parameters from the outside, but you get this as a type specified too. So now that's why that works. Otherwise, because this is just an object, you don't have any information about this, which I think is pretty cool. Stupid thing is, I spent hours on building code snippets and updating my build, and I still don't have a real game. But this might give a little suggestion of what I plan on doing today. I want to add some smooth locomotion. I have no idea how to do that, so I probably go on and ask AI or look at some things other people built. There must be a component for smooth locomotion that we can strip and do something with. Did I do anything else specifically? Oh yeah, something I just got working right before the stream. So there is this option with ESBuild. I use ESBuild to transpile my TypeScript into JavaScript. And there is this option to create a meta file. And if you run this from the command line, you can say meta file equals and then the name of a file. You get a JSON file and you can load it into a specific tool. I will show that in a second. And you get meta information about your bundle. And this can be pretty useful in cases like this. What takes up the most space in the bundle, basically. But I could not figure out how to do this. And then I learned that it's just in the result is a property meta file, and that contains the meta file information. I'm actually not sure what else is in here. Not really much. Oh, I can skip this file. Though I don't write the file directly. I read the file here, but I think I don't have to read the file. I think I can just do output files, and since we only output one file, I can just do this. Do I need to do text? Contents. Does this work too? No. AI was right, probably. No. So yeah, this has to be, it has to work some other way. Maybe it's either or. It's either or. No, it's not. It's still trying to read the Oh, that's too bad. I wonder if we just undo some things here. What if we just console log? No, just do this. So save. Are there no output files? Undefined. Interesting. But the output is not even in the So we have inputs and we have an output. Outputs. Is it in the meta file? Huh? That's probably not. Well, this is what happens all the time. I get distracted by some stuff like this. I just want to see how this works and how I can improve things. So there is no... So if you don't write to an out file, it just writes the output to the console. But I think it writes it twice now. Did I remove the console log? I removed the console log. So yeah, then it just outputs it to the console. So that's not what we need. Then we read the bundle. I'll look at it some other time. It should work, but I don't know how. But with the underscore, I actually gained 200 bytes or something, which was pretty cool. Just by mainly in the voxel engine, I said to AI, figure out which functions are private and make them private and mark them as such, and then that just works. So I've been using a lot of AI agent stuff lately, which is amazing if it works. We have to keep a close eye on what it creates and test things and keep an eye out, but it's like a little assistant. And it's not always correct, so we're missing types here. So I always want to have my types nice and clean there. Okay. So how do we make a locomotion component? I have no idea. And since my A-frame knowledge is old... Oh, I was showing the bundle. This is the bundle right now. As you can see, well, a big part is the voxel engine and the buffer set. That's... This is the third. This is half of a third. And then there's utils and encoder. And then the actual game components is like, well, less than a third of the game is this. But this is the part that will grow the most. Now the bundle is 7.9 kilobytes. This metadata is created before it's passed over to Cursor to be mangled even further. Okay. So I think we're just going to search real quickly. A-frame locomotion component. A-frame locomotion. How does this work? Smooth locomotion, target rig. Reference camera. See, this is already getting way too complex for what I need. A locomotion system. I think I'm going to skip the whole systems part. I wonder what this does. Very private fields. I really think if I ever did locomotion in A-frame, but well, I probably have done some locomotion in A-frame, but I have not used A-frame in many years. So I really need to read up on stuff. I think I'm just going to have a look at my own code. Was it 2020? This is A-frame. What game is this? It's my entry for JS13K, but I forgot what game is this. Interesting, there is no shooting in this game. Why are the shoot controls? I think I might just have used this for even keyboard controls. I think I might have used this for something else. It's funny, it doesn't even do anything. Maybe it's just being used to set the attributes. So it just adds all the attributes. So in Back to Space, this is also a game built for JS13K in A-frame, even longer ago. This is also the shoot controls, but this actually shoots. On button event. Button changed. Damn, was this so complex? Unbutton down, unbutton up. I'm just curious. I mean, this one does not do that exactly. Add event insert axis move. It adds the listener. Listener for... The smooth turn component needs to be applied until axis move event. Interesting, but if I search for axis move, I don't get anything that... 7 more matches. Add... No one emits the event. Can we source the docs? Yeah. So apparently there's just events on the track controls. Like button up and button down. Okay. So how do we do this? I can't even remember all the life cycle events of A-frame. Well, I added them here. What I always find interesting is that there is no documentation in this. That would be so helpful if you just hover over this and it says. I kind of feel I'm relearning A-frame again. Maybe I should not have picked A-frame. But A-frame is easy. No, it need to have component, and there is a life cycle of a component. Overview of methods. Used to, okay, I was just checking if play would be the correct event to listen for, and I think it is. So play and pause are both good, because play is always called after init, and pause is always called before remove. So that means that if we have play and pause, but if we pause the game, it also works. So play and pause would be the good places to add the event. So we also need to have AF met pause. And here we say this. Add event listener. Do we have IntelliSense here? Oh, we have IntelliSense here. Not enough. It's funny that it comes with access move, because that is the one I want. The tricky thing is, no, let's not do that. The tricky thing is, this is different for the left and the right hand. On the other hand, it doesn't matter, because we just put smooth locomotion on one controller and shooting on the other controller, I think. And since it's a game jam, I think I wonder if I even should do snap rotate, because you can stand and walk around. You shoot with one hand and you walk around with the other. Yeah. So we only do the left controller for the smooth locomotion. Do we have any information about the exact events? Where do we have it? Track controls. So this is event, but this is not what I want. It's too bad. This should be... I should be able to set this to a specific type, but I have no idea what type that is. I do a console.log event. We can just figure it out. There's data in there I need, and I don't want to do everything with AI. It's like driving with navigation. If I drive with navigation too much, I forget how to trust my instincts for finding a route. The stupid thing with streaming and coding at the same time is that I completely forget what I was doing and then what I was saying. I need to go to the index. I need to do an import. No, smooth locomotion. I wish there was an easier way of doing this. Just automate it. I don't. Just. I can probably write a script to do this file on build too, but it's too much work. I need to start the normal build. Do we already have something in the console? No, because we need to enter VR. And no, we don't. Yeah, it doesn't work because we have not attached the script. That was what I was. Or the not the script. Component to the entity. Now to update the HTML file, that's also something. Now I completely keep getting the wrong window. So my watch thing is only watching the TypeScript files and not the HTML file. But if it builds, is it watching? It is watching. So now when it builds, it copies the files over in the build, but it doesn't watch the HTML files. And I tried watching the HTML files, but then it screwed up the watching of files, and then it didn't. It watched the HTML file, but it didn't watch the TypeScript files anymore, and I think that's more important. Okay, so now if I refresh, I should get something when I go into, now we have a custom event with this detail. Cool. So it's a custom event. It was what AI was suggesting. Can I do this? No. So now we have the detail, but we have no information in the detail. Probably no. It's a custom event of something. Interesting that custom event is a default HTML thing. So, but what I can try to see if there is, so if we go to the TypeScript definition here, right? Is there access in here? No. That's too bad. I mean, it's an array of 4 and an array of 4. That's it. So can't we just do interface access move event? No, I don't think we have to do detail. It's axis, and that's 4 numbers. And then there was changed 4 booleans, and there was type that was axis move. Does this work? Oh, that's not correct. No, that's not true. But now I have the... I mean, now I have the details. I think this should be in the types for A-frame. Axis move event, axis move details, something like that. I'm probably going to remove this if it's taking too much space. Also, I don't want to do this. I want to call a different function. How did I do that? Here, I say this on button change. Do I just add more? Interesting, I just add more functions. I think what I did here was just the native way of doing things. Or not. This dot axis move. Handler. Right, handler. Okay. No, this is normal event. Event. Damn it. Let's consult AI. So, I have this fancy way of call it getting the types from the schema into the A-frame component. But now that I add a custom function, things break again. Any suggestions on how to make this work? And now we wait. So we can grab some water or something. I've been trying to get Rosie back into the streams also. But it's far from done. Okay, I'll make a short checklist, what we need to do. This is something new with, maybe it's GPT-5 that does this. I always get this thing. It makes a plan of what it needs to do, and then it breaks it down, and then... Two practical ways. Keep the handler method at an explicit this type. Right, like so. Well, that doesn't fix it. Because then I need to add it to the smooth locomotion data component. No, I don't like changing it via module augmentation. Yeah, quality gates. So now because I want to have the data in there, it bites me in the butt because I have to add this twice. I mean, I probably can do something like this, right? No? Why not? Oh. No, I did do it right. Smooth locomotion data. Oh, this is a component, the smooth locomotion data. I need to have it on component and not on smooth locomotion data. So this is not going to work. So what you get is you get a type smooth locomotion component. That's a component and that has that in there. So you need to create a type there. And then instead of using this component, we can shortcut and do this. Is there any benefit of adding all this crap? Technically, we will make less mistakes. Instead of there's this any thing. Or could you just do this? Interestingly enough, it still does know. How does it know? How does it know that it's there? Or is this different now? No. I find this interesting. How does it know? Is it just that it has to be in the init? And if it's in the init, it's fine. No. Oh wait, it does know. because it's in this object. The problem is that this dot data now doesn't know anything. I mean, I can just generate this part without the handler, and then you have to add functions here. Wait, this might just work. Would it be the same? No. Darn it. I was hoping if I do this, now it wants everything. It just says, yeah, they're not the same. If I do partial, nothing is needed anymore. I'm getting distracted again. I think I'm going with this for now, just to see how it works. Need to try and get some stuff done. So I'm going to add a property, an A-frame property of type number, and this is speed. I said speed. Tab. And then the default speed is 5. The max speed. Is there a lerp? Yes. Nice. I hope this might be I wonder build is okay. So often I need to check the index. See, this is what happens. I get this imports, and I don't ever want imports, because this right now creates a dependency on 3JS, and I cannot have that. I'm allowed to have this line. That's it. And if I have a dependency in here on, well, on that, I'm getting errors. I cannot import it, so stuff breaks. Because I explicitly said no A-frame and no three. Oh, I'm editing the index. That doesn't make any sense. So would this, let me close everything else. Close others. So this does not trigger. So if you explicitly say 3, it probably works. So if we go in here and search for lerp, or exactly this line, we get it in there. And now I'm not sure if we do a production build. So now everything is small. And it probably figured out somehow that this code is not used and it removed it. It's probably figured out that this does nothing. This little piece takes up a lot of space. So we have 4 axes. Forward, backwards, is that 2 axes? X is an array of values from 0. So this kind of sucks. A lerp cannot go backwards. What I was thinking... Damn it, do we have to put this in every single function? Is there an easy TypeScript way of automatically set for every function? I'm lazy. I don't want to do things too much. Yeah, you work for me. Yeah, this was something I was thinking too. Actually, that's not the worst idea. Just splitting them out. Oh, that's even better. I'm just thinking steps and steps and steps ahead. Steps and steps and steps ahead. So what if we do... we split this, right? We'll take this. Const smooth locomotion right, so technically this is the same. What if we do this? Export the smooth locomotion component. Now we delete this. We go to index. And here we say register smooth locomotion component. And we say import smooth locomotion component from this. If we do it like this, we get a nice list of all our components we register here. And we have pretty clean code on this side. And if you need to port it to some other engine later, we're not too stuck. I kind of like this idea. I'm going to reinvent an entire thing. Is it this type? Is that a standard thing? Use functions shorthand or function for methods is shown. Arrow functions inherit lexical this and won't get the contextual this if you want. No, I'm going to explore this. I decided I cannot copy this line. That's interesting. I can copy this, but I cannot copy this. I'll type this. Weird. So it's, where did it go? This type. Blah blah equals. I mean, I don't know why this is, what this is for. Now I did lose some. Now I lost the A-frame stuff. Can we do this? So too bad we don't now. Oh wait. So if we do this, we do this dot data dot. No, it's not working. Probably because it didn't copy those types of things. But it would make things so much more complex. I kind of like this, but now we also have nothing in here because it's just an object. And if we do component, so now, no, it does not break. It doesn't care. Well, it is a component. Oh wait, it needed to be this. Type schema read only, speed read only, type number default 5 in it. Is not assignable to type smooth locomotion component. Okay, why not? Oh, sometimes you get some Explain. The object wrote definition, schema, lifecycle, component, initialize system, TypeScript reject assignment because literal is missing those instance components. Fixes. Pick one. Easiest, just forget the type. Okay. Better, use the correct type. So component definition is the correct type? Yeah, but then it doesn't want to have that handler in there. Is this now automatically? This... No. And what if we do class... Okay, S smooth locomotion extends component of smooth locomotion data. Cannot extend an interface. But yeah, if we do implements, right? Now we get every single function that's in there. I think we need to just stick with the A-frame way of doing things. Going to keep it like this or going to keep it like this? I don't think there's anything different in importing, exporting. The reason I was thinking of making it a class was because then I can make these types of things like private. Can't I just define the type of this? What's this TypeScript to? Did they do anything special with types now? They just rolled with it. I don't know, what would be the use of TypeScript if you don't use types, right? What happens with this? Here, nothing yet. And if we do a production build, so the smooth locomotion component becomes O. The schema is dropped in it. Axis move this P. No, it's mangled anyway. Well, is it? Right now the function is mangled. See, now it's not. So it does make sense to make these private. And if we do bind this, the context of this changes, right? So even though it would push the right context in, it doesn't matter. Okay. I was wondering if these would be functions. They are functions. Okay, if we make them arrow functions, we don't have this luxury. Arrow functions cannot have a dis parameter. Okay. So we cannot use arrow functions in this case. The parameter gets removed. Yeah, we do need to have these types of properties just in here. By the way, I think this is valid too. Now I wonder if it knows the type Oh wait, it didn't know the type at all. It says infer. Right now a 5 would result in a type of 5. Is there a way to infer to number? Now this might go wrong if we do a frame parameter, no, not array, a frame parameter vector 3. So position is an error. So now we have the same problem. Does it matter? For this game, does it really matter if a 5 versus a number for the types? If a 5, I can still say a equals 6, right? I know it technically matters, and there is some nuances why you want to do that or not. I cannot say to sit, but yes, but widen allows the assignment. Oh, that's an interesting. But now it's not read-only anymore. Minus read-only? So technically you could assign, but if you would assign directly, the event handlers for changes do not trigger. So if we take speed, for example, you can say data.speed is equal to 7. Now for speed, it's still read-only. Oh, it's because this is an array, right? And now it's not read-only anymore. Is that just because that minus? Yeah, probably. I kind of like that, because you should not do this. You can do this, and speed will become 7, but the changes do not trigger. Or the events do not trigger. Damn it, we're not making progress. We're working on this for an hour. We're not making progress. So lerp is going from this to this dot. Based on axis. I don't know. I don't know what forward and backward. Oh, we can we check? We can just do console.log. Well, just do this. I don't care. Now make sure my build is running, and we can check it in the editor or in the console. So it's running. Let's refresh here. Error is gone. Type error, cannot undefined reading speed. What? Uh-oh. Is this going to tell me that I've been spending hours on something that doesn't work? This data is undefined. Why is this data undefined? I think it's because A-frame is doing... No. It's not because A-frame is doing sneaky things. Because now it is there. It's just this event handler. Really? More code. Well, it doesn't matter how we define this. We need to do the binding like this. Is that normal? I mean, X move listener. This dot X move listener. Where's the X move listener? Sneaky bastard. That is a way. I mean, it is. It is a way. The issue is that A-frame is determined in the context of things, right? I wonder how A-frame handles it. So camera as a component, register works already different, but event listener. It's a function with subfunctions. Oh, it's not. It is. No, it's not. Ah, darn it. So it's here. So it's just a normal function. I hate nested functions. So this is just registering all kinds of different events, normal events, but that should work in a similar way. Because the context of this function is different. I would have used an arrow function in this case, then this would be the same. What pattern? So here I did button change bind this. You have button change function, whatever. Here I did it without. No, that's not true. Ha! I did it the same way. I'm a sneaky bastard myself. I did it the same way, but slightly different. Instead of just setting here bind this, I created a property that's pointing to this. And this would basically just be the same as in init. Say this. No. This dot xMove handler equals that function. But even now I don't have to do this if I do this. Yeah, and remove it too. That's correct. Why didn't you do it? There we go. And then it wants to remove it again. No, it's fine. It needs to be removed. But now I don't have to have this bind this. I think. So let's refresh. You still have, yeah, now it's wrong. It's weird. Let's do this here. VR. Now we get here. This dot speed is 5. Because now we have the context, because this is an arrow function, we have the context of this. So this basically means we have to set up our event handlers inside the init. It's not the nicest way of doing things, setting it up in the init. Can it be done? You know what? Forget it. I just need to stop thinking about doing it nicer. This is not a challenge of creating the nicest code. This is a challenge of creating the nicest game with the least amount of code. So now we have a let's add a console here. So now the left controller, oh, the right controller doesn't do anything, and the left controller, so up is the last one, and Can I... Wait, yeah, I can do this. So if I do this... Oh, that's interesting. It doesn't... What are the first two parameters? I was thinking this might be the other controller then, but... Oh wait, there's another little... Oh, that's not in here. No, it's not on the controller. On the gamepad you have more access. Let's test with adding the locomotion to the other controller too. I have to say it's a bit odd that the left controller is on the right and the right controller is on the left in the code. Or not left, right, up, down. Top, bottom, I mean. Okay. Let's just save something so it refreshes. There we go. I lost the connection, I think. Didn't it copy the HTML? Oh, it did, but I made typo. Sometimes. Still nothing. Oh, we need to go to VR. No. So what? What are the first two numbers? Am I missing something? I'm looking for a thing or two to show, but nope. Was that what this mapping was for? A trackpad, yeah. I think maybe some controllers. I think it's coming from the gamepad API, and that has probably the first two for the. There's no touch thing here now. Maybe other controllers have something there, but I'm going to only focus on quests. So what I want, I'm going to close back to space for a second. So what I want here is getting a value. So it's access. I'm going to do console.log here for a second. Wait, if we do something like this. No, that's not correct. So what do we know? Yes. This is not correct. So axis 3 is forward and backward. But lerp is from 0 to 1. What if we do this? We lerp from minus speed backwards to positive speed. Let's do const forward, and then do console.log forward. If I don't know. But now this value needs to become in the range of 0 to 1. So if we do +1 and divide by 2. Right? Now it's 0. It's 10. 10. So it's the other way around. And why does it go all the way to 10? Am I being stupid again? Yes, I am. Oh. Let me tell you, sometimes I'm amazed by myself. So now it works. So it's going from, well, basically, it's still backwards. Why is it still backwards? That's probably because I had it not switched. Right. So where do you go? Here we go. So forward, if we in VR, forward is forward, backwards is backwards. Yay! I just realized something. There is a keyboard control here in the default that makes me move around. That's basically what I need. This one. is this. One thing I really like about A-Frame is this little thing. We have an inspector and we can just say, well, this is the camera, WASD. So that's on the camera, and the look controls too, so we can do stuff like looking around. We cannot do that, right? Because we have a controller that needs to look at the camera. So what we need to do is actually add the camera. There's no camera in the scene yet. Let's remove this. We need to have the camera in the scene, otherwise we cannot do anything with it. Luckily, we can just take this camera, click in the top here corner, copy entire HTML to clipboard for this component. You can do the same thing, or you can save the changes. I thought you can do the same for everything. You can save it as GLTF. I thought you can do the same for the entire scene, but this is already really handy, because now we can just drop this in. We need to clean it up a little bit. I mean, precision, see, and by default it adds something A-frame injected, so it knows the difference between something that is injected and something we added. And this is something that's similar to normal HTML, even though this is A-frame. Inside it's A-frame markup, but it uses the same construct. I need to sneeze. Ooh, just in time. So what we can do is reference things. So we can say camera. No, we do A-frame property of object, or selector, type selector. And we can say here, we say smooth locomotion. I'm going to remove it on the right because we only want it on the left. And we say target. Yeah. It would be so nice if somehow we can get IntelliSense in this too. Maybe there's a VS Code extension. I've always disliked features like this. Editing strings. It doesn't work. But this is a target, so now we should be able to... I need to think real hard. This dot data dot target. I forgot, did this work, or did we break it because of something else? Oh, that would be even better. You can leave it out of the HTML. Because I remember things breaking, but that was while we are trying to do things. Yeah, it's still in here. So data target. It thinks it's a string, but it's not a string. It's a selector. I'm not sure if we can do anything about that. It takes the extends. I mean, technically we could just do this based on type, number. I mean, it's not a string. And then IntelliSense breaks. Damn it. I mean, now TypeScript thinks there is no get attribute, but it's not a string. It's a target. It's an element. It builds. I think it would even run. Does this have, this has a get attribute, right? Yeah. And now we get the rotation, but we're looking forward, so that's, but this works. Is there a way to make that become a selector? Basically, the type is specified and we use type for figuring out the type. I mean, why not? A possible null. That's interesting. technically it's not. But I think it's way too strict. I don't want this to be formatted. Can I just... Damn it, it's pretty... How can I prevent a piece of code? How can I learn how to type? Uncheck format on save. No. There is an ignore thing. We can specify one file. Code line patterns. We can't just do the whole file. I can't just do... that's too bad. But we can do start and finish. That's fine too. Or was it like this? Damn it. Nope. Doesn't work. Damn it. Oh, that's only a markdown. There. Then we do it like that. I don't want it to mess up stuff. I wonder if it's really a string. Yeah, you can set it to a string, right? So it has to be a string. But if you use it, if we set it, we don't do it like this, and we use it, we just make it an element. If we use it, we have already an element. I think A-frame does that for us. So now we can just do target.getElement. Progress. Not much. But it's progress. So we have a rotation. Now based on that rotation, we need to move forward. Now something in here has already done that. So we have rotation, X rotation, direction vector. They fly, we don't fly. Transform direction relative to heading. X rotation. Y rotation. Interesting. Get movement vector. This is a function that returns a function. It's probably in tick, yeah. Do we move the camera? We move the camera, right? The player is the camera in A-frame. I think. So we can set the position to get the movement vector. No, we add. Oh, that's interesting. Is the camera an object 3D? I'm just going to borrow this line. Why doesn't have... Oh, it's... Why would you do this? What's the use of that? So you don't have to type this all the time? And then get movement vector is just... So it's a direction vector. It starts with the velocity. It's a YXC. Why is that? Why is it making it so complex? I don't get it. We probably get it when we've got this implemented and it breaks. So we have the rotation attribute. We have the velocity. I mean, we can just very so this will be right. And then we pick 2. Same speed, but now we can go left and right. So that's the velocity. But we cannot do it like this because we need to do it over time. This will only move us slightly when we're moving. So what we need to do is set a property internally. for the velocity, or is this velocity? Yeah, I think that when a key is pressed, the velocity is set. On key down. Key is pressed. No, that's not true. Yeah, the velocity is changed. So velocity is an array. Yeah, this is not in the schema. It just adds it like this. We don't have a velocity. We need to specify it up in our little thing here. Why? I mean, you can do that here if we knew it. Do we need to do it like this then? Automatically fill it out because it's a type, or do we need to specify it as a type? No, that just works. Right, so if it's a type, we can do it. We can do it like this. But if we need to have the actual implementation, we need to do it like this. Okay, makes sense. But again, this is a private thing. We don't have to have this outside. So we can just have it here, and we say this. So at runtime or at compile time, it can be removed. I'm not sure if it should be if it needs to be a vector, right? I mean, this can just be it can literally be an array with two numbers that is set to 0. When we start, it's set to 0. We don't check if what has changed, we just update things. Right, so we do this dot velocity equals left, right. Then we remove this because we don't need this here. Yeah, we need to check the rotation every frame. So we do an AF method tick. So we can could optimize it technically that if we're not moving, we don't have to update this. I also think that if this value is smaller than something, we need to change it. We need to leave it. So if the absolute value, but then again, it's so much code. Let's forget all those pesky little details. We don't do details. So we have a velocity. We have a rotation. And we're going to cheat and look at what this is doing. So when in the tick, where, oh no, there's the update something. Update velocity. No, not update velocity, update. Movement vector. So we have the velocity and we multiply that for a delta. With the delta time. That's why it's a vector. That's why it's a vector. Copies the velocity into the direction vector. Then it multiplies the direction vector with the delta to scale it over time. And what is a rotation Euler? Oh yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. It's interesting. These are basically just globals. We can do it like this. I don't want to have that. A Euler. Why do it like this? I don't get that. And for now, I'm just going to copy the whole thing. Don't tell anyone, right? It's a secret. So, time delta is the delta time. That works. Velocity doesn't work because velocity is not a vector. In my case. Data AD axis. What is this? Default. Oh, that's right. You can set this. So it's just X. Yeah. Maybe it's easier to make it a vector, right? Is that correct? X and Y? I think Y is up. We'll see. Velocity. Velocity is not there. Velocity is there. Oh. I did not update my snippet. So now we need to apply the rotation to that little vector. This is all X, Y, Z. Y, X, Z. Interesting. Get attribute returns a string or null. But if I look here, or do we need to have target.l? Or would it just work? Because yeah. No, rotation. It's in a tick. Yeah, it would just work. Interesting. Would target just be an A entity? Is that something? If we look at the component and then the schema property types, and then we have selector. It does call a query selector, so it's a bit weird. Box. What if it just force it into an A entity? Yeah, so this is not going to work if we're not in VR. Well, it is working because, but we don't get any velocity. So velocity is 0. If we go into VR, we go there. Okay, things are running. I'm not saying the right component. It's data target. Nope. That's not it. Did it do anything with the camera here? I don't think so. I can check if the camera has an ID, right? The camera has an ID. But I do not reference it. Which is actually quite interesting, but... Target, this does something with a... This does a lot with the... Now we get all the colors that are in this game. I was hoping we get a selector as well. No. I know what I enable and disable stuff here, but entity raycaster. What is this entity then? Oh, it's the HUD. Oh, that's the camera. And the HUD is on the camera. But the camera does not have a... Okay. This doesn't seem to work to move the player. How can I do that? By the way, I have a instructions file for Copilot here. So it knows what we're doing. It knows we're doing A-frame. It knows about all kinds of crazy things that are in here already. Mostly AI generated. But it works. So. Blah, 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 blah. Dead zone. Yeah, I don't care about a dead zone for now. Yeah, so technically, that's what I was saying earlier as well. Is that just the key? Just if we want to change the position, we just need to. I don't see any hands. Oh, there. We need to enable the controllers. But it doesn't move. Position stays the same. Let's console log the direction vector. This is going to be messy because it's writing it every. We should fly completely off the map if we do it like this. But it doesn't change the position of the camera. The WASD controls do it. But would the VR camera be something else? Wait. This must do the same thing, right? Target. Well, this is a snap turn, but the smooth locomotion is the same thing. This has a target. Start component as unknown velocity, get velocity. Hold position. Show more. Interesting. Copy new position. Is that a trick? Nope. We still have quite a large velocity or movement. But if we That's interesting. It resets. Why would it reset? Why would it reset? What if we do this? Right? We just have the mouse. Oh, we need to refresh the something so it updates. Does this change? Yeah. Now we need to see a mouse. Okay. And if we do this, whoa, yeah. So the mouse moves. Is this just a tricky thing to have? See, a rig. Yeah, that's the thing. So we need to do it like this. This is HTML, so we need to refresh this page. Okay, so now go to VR and reset the pose, and now we do this. Woo, woo, woo. I think we move a little bit too fast, so oh, only in VR. We still move pretty fast. Wow. Why? Let's see. It's all the way backwards. Very interesting, because the values were weird before. Seemed to be upside down, but apparently that is correct. And now if we rotate the camera, so we would rotate, no, diagonally that way, forward, should be still forward, and it's not. Is that because... Oh, I have that here. Oh, yeah. That's a tricky one. We're not going forward based on the rotation of the camera. We're going forward based on the rotation we're rotating. And that's not forward. We're just moving the camera. So we need to have the camera and the rig. So this is, let's rename this to camera. And let's rename this to rig. Now in the index, we move this back here and we make this rig. Right? So now we move the rig, but we take the rotation of the camera. Now if we build snap rotation into this too, we need to rotate the rig, and then based on the camera we need to have, I don't know, world position or something. Oh, I did not do it correctly, I think. Because rotation, yeah, this data camera, position data rig. Wait, why did the camera move? Oh, I did not update the HTML probably. So we use the position of the rig. Yes, so now we have locomotion. We can move very slowly and very fast. That's nice. Let me see if I can quickly get something working here, which I have not tried. I'll move it into the correct way in a moment. Edge. I really hope this would work today. I had a lot of issues with getting this to work, but I also think movement is a bit too slow. So let's increase the speed quite a bit. It's actually quite a bit. This shows quest 3. Okay, one sec. If this works, I will share my screen. Yes. So, normally I would cast in a different way, but oh, let me check. I think you can see my VR screen now. So to prove we're actually building a VR game, we can go into VR. And now we are in VR. We don't have any, so we have our little pause. Is this visible? It is! So we have our little mouse, but we should be able to move. Okay, so our movement is in the forward direction. So we go up and down. That's not really correct, but Look at those little mice. I'm going to get them. I have paws, I have mice. So next, we need to add a gun to one of the paws, and then we can shoot mice. And we have a game. Yay! Wait, I need to take a screenshot. There we go. Yeah. VR and locomotion. It took almost 3 hours to build locomotion. Damn it. Well, that's it for today. We made progress. It's not a lot, but there is progress. Locomotion was one of the things I needed to do, and we have it now. We can go from there. I feel like well, I'm learning A-frame again. Yeah, but with that, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Keep an eye out on the channel. Due to family stuff, I just don't know when I can stream again. Hopefully I can stream again tomorrow. If so, I hope to see you again then. And with that, have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.